The Siberian dawn breaks reluctantly over Yakutsk, painting the frozen landscape in pale pink hues. At -60 degrees Celsius, the air itself seems solid, crystallizing breath into instant ice clouds. Market vendor Nikolai Ivanov emerges from his traditional yurt, wrapped in layers of reindeer hide and wolf fur that have protected his family for generations. His weathered hands, despite thick mittens, move with practiced efficiency as he prepares his stall. Frozen fish, solid as granite blocks, are arranged on wooden platforms. These aren't just products, they're lifelines in a land where fresh food means survival. The natural freezer of Siberian winter preserves everything perfectly. No electricity required. Other vendors appear like shadows in the dim light, their movements deliberate and conserved. Every gesture costs precious energy in this temperature. Steam rises from their mouths in thick white plumes as they communicate in the ancient Yakut language, their words forming ice crystals that tinkle to the ground. Nikolai's daughter, Saria, helps arrange dried meat strips and traditional tools. At 12 years old, she already understands the sacred relationship between her people and this harsh environment. Her bright eyes, framed by frost-covered lashes, reflect the wisdom of countless generations who've thrived here. The marketplace slowly comes alive, with the sound of wooden sleds scraping across packed snow and the gentle snorting of reindeer. This isn't just commerce, it's a daily celebration of human resilience against nature's most extreme test. As the sun climbs higher, casting long blue shadows across the snow, the Petrov family gathers around their outdoor fire pit. The flames dance defiantly against the bitter cold, creating a small pocket of warmth in the vast frozen wilderness. Grandmother Eleanor, her face mapped with lines of wisdom and weather, tends the fire with movements perfected over 70 winters. 3 generations huddle close, their thick fur clothing making them appear like ancient spirits of the tundra. The children, Mikhail and Anya, extend their small hands toward the flames, their mittens steaming as ice crystals melt. Their breath mingles with the smoke, creating ethereal patterns in the crystalline air. Elena shares stories passed down through centuries, tales of survival, of harmony with the reindeer, of reading the subtle signs that mean life or death in this environment. Her voice carries the rhythm of the wind, the patience of the permafrost, the endurance of her people. The fire pit serves multiple purposes: cooking, warmth, social gathering, and spiritual center. Around it, frozen fish thaws slowly, releasing aromatic steam that speaks of sustenance and survival. Traditional iron kettles hang from wooden tripods, brewing tea so hot it remains liquid even in this temperature. Father Dmitri checks their supplies methodically: dried meat, fish oil, birch bark for fire starting, and the precious salt that makes winter preservation possible. Every item represents careful planning and ancient knowledge. In this land, preparation isn't just practical, it's sacred. The rhythmic sound of hooves on packed snow announces the arrival of the morning's most important visitors. A caravan of reindeer emerges from the forest, like a scene from an ancient legend, their breath creating a moving cloud of steam in the frigid air. Lead herder Anatoly guides his animals with subtle clicks and whistles, communication refined over decades of partnership. These aren't just livestock, they're family members, transportation, clothing, food, and spiritual companions. Each reindeer has a name, a personality, and a specific role in the survival of the community. Their thick winter coats, naturally adapted to temperatures that would kill most creatures, shimmer with frost crystals that catch the morning light like scattered diamonds. Young herder Pavel, Anatoly's nephew, demonstrates the intricate relationship between human and animal. At 19, he can read the mood of the herd, predict weather changes by their behavior, and navigate vast distances using only the reindeer's instincts and traditional knowledge passed down through his bloodline. The sleds they pull are masterpieces of functional art, constructed entirely from materials the land provides. Birchwood frames, reindeer hide bindings, and runners polished smooth by countless journeys across the snow. No metal parts that could shatter in extreme cold. No modern materials that fail when temperatures drop below human endurance. As the caravan reaches the market, the reindeer stand patiently, their large eyes reflecting ancient wisdom. They understand their role in this harsh ecosystem, partners in survival rather than mere beasts of burden. Inside the traditional dwelling, a different world exists. The temperature difference between interior and exterior creates its own weather system. Condensation freezes instantly on the walls, creating intricate ice patterns that serve as natural insulation. Maria Stepanova and her sister Katya work together preparing the day's meal, their movements synchronized by years of shared survival. The yurt's design, unchanged for centuries, represents perfect adaptation to extreme conditions. Multiple layers of reindeer hide, felt and birch bark create an envelope that traps precious heat while allowing necessary ventilation. The central fire pit provides warmth, cooking capability, and light, its smoke escaping through a carefully designed opening that minimizes heat loss. Traditional foods line the walls: strings of dried fish, blocks of frozen meat, containers of rendered fat that provides essential calories for surviving the cold. Everything has its place, its purpose, its season. Waste doesn't exist here. Every scrap serves survival. The women work with tools their grandmothers used: wooden bowls carved from birch, knives with handles wrapped in hide for grip in cold weather, and cooking implements designed for efficiency in a world where fuel is precious. Their hands, despite the cold, move with graceful precision born of necessity and tradition. Children play quietly on reindeer hide rugs, their games teaching survival skills disguised as fun. They learn to identify different types of snow, to read weather signs, to understand the behavior of animals that share their world. In a clearing surrounded by snow-heavy pine trees, Elder Semyon conducts an impromptu survival class. At 78, he moves with the careful deliberation of someone who has survived more winters than most people see years. His students, children and teenagers from the community, gather in a semicircle, their young faces serious with concentration. Today's lesson: fire in extreme conditions. Semyon's weathered hands demonstrate techniques that could mean the difference between life and death. He shows them how to identify the driest tinder, even after days of snowfall, how to create spark in temperatures that defeat modern lighters, how to build fires that burn efficiently when every piece of fuel is precious. The children watch intently as he explains the properties of different woods: birch bark that burns even when wet, pine pitch that ignites easily, the importance of proper airflow when oxygen itself seems frozen. These aren't academic lessons, but survival imperatives passed down through generations of successful adaptation. 15-year-old Alexei practices the techniques, his young hands clumsy in thick mittens, but determined to master skills his ancestors perfected. The elder corrects his technique patiently, understanding that this knowledge represents the continuation of his people's survival. Around them, the forest stands silent, except for the occasional crack of a tree splitting in the cold. This natural classroom has taught countless generations, its lessons written in snow and ice, success measured not in grades, but in survival. The midday market reaches its peak activity as traders from distant settlements arrive with goods essential for winter survival. The scene resembles a medieval fair transported to an alien landscape. Wooden stalls displaying frozen fish, solid as sculptures, furs so thick they stand upright, and tools crafted from materials that won't fail in extreme cold. Trader Boris negotiates the price of seal oil with customer Vera, their conversation punctuated by visible breath clouds that dissipate quickly in the dry air. Every transaction involves more than money. It's an exchange of survival resources, a calculation of what each family needs to endure the remaining winter months. The natural refrigeration preserves everything perfectly. Fish caught months ago remain fresh, their eyes clear, their flesh firm. Meat hangs in the open air without spoilage, protected by temperatures that kill bacteria instantly. This is nature's most efficient preservation system, requiring no energy except the planet's own cold. Children dart between the stalls, their games incorporating the serious business of survival. They learn to evaluate the quality of preserved foods, to understand the relative value of different furs, to recognize the signs of well-crafted tools that won't fail when lives depend on them. The market operates on principles older than money: reciprocity, community support, and the understanding that everyone's survival depends on everyone else's success. In this environment, selfishness is literally fatal. Despite temperatures that would send most of the world's children indoors, young Yakut children play with infectious joy in the snow-covered village center. Their games, passed down through generations, teach essential survival skills while providing the physical activity necessary to maintain body heat and mental health during the long winter. 8-year-old Nastya and her friends build elaborate snow fortresses, their construction techniques unconsciously mimicking the principles of traditional shelter building. They learn about wind direction, structural integrity, and insulation while simply having fun. Their laughter rings clear in the thin air, a sound of pure life defying the hostile environment. The children's clothing represents centuries of refinement, multiple layers that trap air for insulation, outer shells that repel wind and snow, and accessories designed specifically for their smaller bodies and higher activity levels. Their mittens connect to their coats with traditional cords, preventing the loss that could mean frostbite. Parents watch from nearby, their supervision balancing safety with the need for children to develop independence and cold weather skills. They understand that overprotection in this environment creates weakness that could prove fatal in adulthood. Traditional games teach practical skills, races that develop the cardiovascular fitness essential for generating body heat, contests that improve balance on ice and snow, and cooperative activities that reinforce the community bonds necessary for group survival. As the brief winter day fades into the long Arctic night, hunters return from their expedition across the vast tundra. Their silhouettes appear first as dark spots against the orange-pink sunset, gradually resolving into the forms of men and sleds loaded with the day's success. The temperature has dropped further, making every breath a visible effort, every movement a calculated conservation of energy. Lead hunter Vasily guides his team across the trackless snow using navigation skills that predate GPS by millennia. He reads the subtle signs, wind patterns in the snow, the behavior of distant birds, the quality of light reflected from ice formations, that tell him exactly where he is in this seemingly featureless landscape. Their sleds carry more than meat. They bring stories of the hunt, observations about animal behavior and weather patterns, and the satisfaction of providing for their community. The hunters' faces, partially hidden by frost-covered scarves, show the quiet pride of men who have successfully challenged one of Earth's most demanding environments. The hunting party's return triggers activity throughout the village. Families prepare to process the meat, children gather to hear stories of the day's adventure, and elders evaluate the hunters' observations for signs about the remaining winter weather. This isn't just food acquisition, it's a complex social and survival ritual. As they approach the village lights, the hunter's breath creates moving clouds of steam that catch the last rays of sunlight, transforming them into ethereal figures moving between the worlds of civilization and wilderness. Inside the Volkov family yurt, 3 generations gather around a low wooden table for the evening meal. The contrast between the harsh exterior world and this warm interior sanctuary creates a sense of profound gratitude for shelter, food, and family bonds that sustain life in this extreme environment. Grandmother Polina ladles steaming soup from a traditional pot, the aroma filling the small space with promises of warmth and nourishment. The soup contains ingredients that tell the story of Yakut survival: dried fish, preserved vegetables, herbs gathered during the brief summer, and fat that provides the calories essential for generating body heat. Father Igor shares observations from his day at the market, discussing weather patterns, the condition of other families, and plans for the remaining winter months. These aren't casual conversations, but vital intelligence sharing that helps the entire community survive. The children, Misha and Lena, listen to their grandfather's stories while eating. These tales aren't entertainment, but education, accounts of previous harsh winters, successful survival strategies, and the mistakes that cost lives. Every story carries lessons that might someday save their lives. The meal proceeds with the unhurried pace of people who understand that rushing wastes energy and that family time provides psychological warmth as essential as physical heat. Outside, the wind howls with increasing intensity, but inside, the family creates its own climate of security and love. As the village settles into the long Arctic night, Fyodor begins his solitary watch. At -65 degrees, this is the coldest part of the 24-hour cycle, when the absence of solar radiation allows the Siberian cold to reach its most extreme depths. His responsibility, maintaining the community fires and watching for dangers, requires the kind of endurance that defines his people. The night watchman's role extends beyond simple security. He monitors weather changes that could threaten the community, tends fires that provide emergency warmth, and serves as the link between the sleeping village and the active dangers of the Arctic night. His presence allows others to rest, knowing that experienced eyes watch over their safety. Fyodor's clothing represents the pinnacle of cold weather adaptation. Multiple layers of fur and hide that trap air for insulation while allowing necessary movement. His boots, crafted from reindeer hide and lined with fur, keep his feet functional in temperatures that would cause instant frostbite to unprotected skin. The fire he tends serves multiple purposes: a beacon for anyone lost in the darkness, a source of emergency warmth, and a psychological anchor that connects the human community to the life-giving power of flame. The wood he feeds it has been carefully selected and dried, each piece representing precious fuel in a land where trees grow slowly. Around him, the night sounds of the Arctic create a symphony of survival. The crack of ice, the distant howl of wind, the soft movement of reindeer, and the almost inaudible breathing of a community at rest. The cycle begins anew as the Yakut community emerges to greet another day of survival in Earth's most challenging environment. The morning rituals that mark the beginning of each day aren't mere habits, but essential practices that ensure continued survival and community cohesion in conditions that test human limits. Elder Stepan performs the traditional morning blessing, his words forming ice crystals that catch the first rays of sunlight. This spiritual practice connects the community to their ancestors, to the land that sustains them, and to the forces of nature that they must respect to survive. Families emerge from their dwellings to check on their animals, their supplies, and each other. This morning inventory isn't casual. It's a systematic assessment of the community's survival status. Who needs help? What resources are running low? How has the night's cold affected essential equipment? The reindeer, having survived another night in the open, shake frost from their thick coats and begin their patient wait for the day's work. Their ability to thrive in these conditions makes human survival possible, and the morning greeting between herders and animals reinforces bonds that transcend simple utility. Children help with morning chores, their participation teaching them the daily disciplines that will someday ensure their own survival. They learn to read the signs of a successful night: intact shelters, healthy animals, adequate fuel supplies, and to identify problems that require immediate attention. As our 24-hour journey concludes, the community gathers for an evening celebration that demonstrates the spiritual and cultural strength that enables survival in this extreme environment. Despite temperatures that challenge human endurance, the people of Yakutsk create warmth through community bonds, traditional music, and the shared joy of another successful day. The celebration takes place around a massive bonfire that serves as both practical heat source and symbolic center of community life. Families arrive wearing their finest traditional clothing, elaborate fur garments decorated with intricate beadwork that represents centuries of artistic tradition maintained despite harsh conditions. Traditional musicians play instruments crafted from local materials: drums made from reindeer hide, flutes carved from birchwood, and stringed instruments that produce haunting melodies that seem to capture the voice of the Arctic wind itself. The music connects the community to their cultural heritage and provides the rhythm for traditional dances. Children and adults move together in ancient patterns that tell stories of survival, of harmony with nature, and of the enduring strength of the human spirit. Their movements generate body heat while celebrating the cultural knowledge that makes their survival possible. As the evening progresses, the celebration becomes a reaffirmation of community bonds, a sharing of resources and stories, and a demonstration that human culture not only survives, but thrives in Earth's most challenging environment. The Yakut people don't merely endure the cold, they transform it into an opportunity for community, celebration, and the continuation of one of humanity's most remarkable adaptations. The bonfire burns bright against the star-filled Arctic sky, a beacon of human resilience that has burned for thousands of years and will continue to burn as long as people choose to make their home in this land of eternal winter.